scramble, yeah.
Good evening, Councilman. How you guys doing? We're doing good. Can't beat the weather. Warm, but not too hot.
That's fair.
There's any more chairs. You can hear it out here.
You can.
So I'm gonna sit out here. You guys sit in there?
I'll wait till Nicole's done.
Till what?
I'll wait till Nicole's done. So I'm at 5.
What are you talking about?
Fees and charges.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just your 27 fees and charges schedule.
Just sit here.
So we can just,
Whichever counts.
just.
What's that?
Oh, is this mic is hot right here.
Well, my clock says, yep, my clock says 5:15, so let's start the study session. I'll call the study session to order. And first we'll have Assistant to City Manager Hendricks to lead the discussion on federal legislative agenda. Good evening.
Great. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Good to see you. Again, my name is Nicole Hendricks, Assistant to the City Manager. So I'm here to ask for your feedback on and maybe approval of the federal agenda for 2026. So we're working to finalize that document. We last talked about this item back in March, and at that time got some feedback to revise the language that's in the draft, and then also add a handful of items. And that draft's before you tonight. There's some printed handouts. And so those items include support for receiving our charging and fueling infrastructure grant. That's also known as the Tank Up Project funding that was awarded to Tualatin but has not been received. And so the project is on pause until those funds are dispersed. And so we are tracking developments on the funding for that. And there is a lawsuit by several states to get that funding. So we're hoping that that helps move things forward. We also added the support for the community development block grants. So that's also currently proposed to be cut by the administration, which, yeah, the funding will be determined through the appropriations process. And so we'll see how things kind of develop, but typically CDBG does end up getting back in there. So we're hopeful, but cautious, and we'll be talking with our Congress folks to make sure that that's advocated for. And then the railroad crossing elimination program. So this is a grant program that our team has had conversations about potentially finding ways to mitigate some of the issues that we see with the railroad being going through Tigard. And so there's a variety of options like safety devices, creating more separation, or elimination of rail. And so that's something that our team is just interested in having that option to pursue when we're ready. And then opposing changes to FEMA. So recently there was a review council that was put together that proposed some major changes and shifts in how FEMA's disaster relief program works, which basically would put more responsibility on the state and local governments to do response and more cost share of emergency response. So there's some pretty big changes. Our team is working on preparing a statement. They're receiving public comment within like the next week, and so we're submitting public comment. And then the last thing that was added was cuts to just programs that support vulnerable populations like Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. So just working with state and CFM at the state level to advocate for continuing support of those services. And the specific language is all listed in the draft. And so with that, I'll answer any questions or get feedback on the draft.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think they're excellent changes. Thank you for adding this. I think it's timely. So I see no changes in the make.
Yeah, I appreciate the work that was done on this. Only feedback is regarding the affordable housing point. And the feedback is all the other ones are either very specific in the header, or they cite something really specific, which I like in this case, especially considering the sort of federal government we have right now. And that's the only one that's a bit vague.
Yeah.
So because I read it, whenever I read the word affordability at this point, I'm like, what are we talking about? Because there's like subsidized housing as opposed to just like housing that's, like a market price people can actually afford on a certain income. Like, so that's my only feedback there. But it's consistent with our, council goal 1. So it's not something I would be, it's something I would be fine with including.
And I can follow up with the team to add a couple more specifics. That might help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only feedback there.
Just to, no changes, Nicole, so appreciate the feedback from both counselors. But just a curiosity, you referenced state assistance with CFM. So at a federal level, are we getting guidance or thoughts from someone, or how's that?
So at the federal level, we're not working with CFM anymore, but we are kind of working on our relationships with electeds and just making sure we have a close tie-in to working with, our Congress.
So staff is doing that?
Yeah.
I would want to dig more into the Federal Emergency Management Agency. I do feel that we should restructure into smaller coordination-focused agencies. I'm sure they want to do it in a terrible, terrible way that we like to, but I don't.
Okay. Yeah, and I can follow up to get more info from our team on what that kind of looks like, more specifics if you're interested in hearing more, but that's helpful feedback.
For the CFI grant, that's already being approved, but we're just seeking it to be released.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how does that work? How's the lobbying going to work? Are we lobbying at specific agencies? But we're not asking for more money.
So, yeah, there is a lawsuit.
Yeah.
From several states, I believe,
And we're. part of
against the,
this.
agency. And so Tualatin lobbyists, because that they're the
Mhm.
receiving entity, are following that. And basically, if that moves through, then,
They have
we should be
federal
good to go.
lobbyists,
Yeah.
Government Partners is the federal lobbyists.
So it's through Tualatin's, lobbyists.
It's Walton and 15 other cities, including Tiger.
So, I support this, of course, but I'm just wondering what value are we adding by listing this specifically when we don't think that we're doing anything, which is other than waiting for a lawsuit. So, I mean, I don't,
Salinas is aware, so is Bynum, so they're advocating on our behalf. And because Tiger actually pretty much wrote the grant. And Tualatin, because of their fiscal stewardship and a couple other reasons, were in charge of it, so
okay.
I'd hate to see us, since we were really the impetus behind the grant, not to help advocate for it. And the more cities that advocate for it, the more likely it'll help both in the lawsuit, but also with our professional members.
Was it more like, I don't know, and I at the risk of wordsmithing, so I apologize. I mean, is it remain visibility or something? So, I mean, the action is what I'm hearing you say, Councilor Shaw, is we just need to make sure it's top of mind of our congressional delegation and that they're paying attention. And there is no kind of action, proactive,
Right.
new
It's right now in
action.
the legal system.
But it's just that this needs to stay
Top of mind.
top of mind. So that's probably not the right words, but
It's right now,
But I
that we're trying
understand
to
it.
get money for fueling, infrastructure, and the public spaces, put it that way. And so this is public investment versus private investment. And so the public will likely be free to try that as opposed to,
Oh, I support
yeah,
I support the project and I think we should keep it on top of the mind. And it top of the priority, but I just don't. But we're not asking for money, we're just asking for the release. But anyway, I have no problem, I'm just curious. All right, so any other questions?
I'll chime in. I love that you kept it short. And even with the CFI grant, it's short, it can be read quickly. I agree with affordable housing kind of that.
Okay.
Other than that, it's very Tiger centered, which is good. Should stand out.
So we can, make that refinement to the affordable housing kind of section. And then this will all get designed into a nice kind of one pager to share out if you want. So,
thank you. And we'll send that out to our congressional members and
Yeah.
staff. Great. Thank you.
Well, going back to CFI, maybe we can make it clear, Tiger's advocating for the release of the fund
Sure,
at the very beginning, because the other is requesting money.
yeah.
What we're asking. All right.
Show us the money.
put that in there.
All right.
All right, so that's
Thank you.
great, thank you, so.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
Nico, thank you, and so I don't know if the SDC coordinator.
I think.
There's Heather calling.
Yeah. There.
There you go.
I'm here, Maureen.
I should have looked over.
All right, so let's move on to the next item. The study session, which is a review of fiscal year 2027 fees and schedules. Charges, fee and charges schedule. And we have SDC coordinator coach to present.
Yes. Good evening. Who? City Council. My name is Danielle Couch. I'm the Assistant Development Charge Coordinator for the city, and I also assist with coverage and special projects when the opportunity arises. In this case, I assisted budget team with the annual update of the city's fees and charges schedule, and I'm here to present to you these significant changes for review. You were given 3 primary documents, the proposed fee schedule for 2027, the 2026 fee schedule that we're currently working from, and the summary of the changes between the two, which is intended to act as a crosswalk to help you track the proposed edits. First and foremost, the most obvious change is the format of the new fee schedule. The old design was difficult to use. The font was very small. There were no horizontal chart lines. It was very difficult to track. There were equally too much clutter and too much white space throughout the document. And a lot of the fees weren't organized in a very user-friendly way. This is also a document that, since it is online and available to the public, must meet our accessibility standards. And that format was not going to meet those standards. So the new format that we came up with is much more pleasing to the eye. It adds that linear guide to the page, enlarges the font size, simplifies the pages. We deleted a lot of unnecessary references, consolidated a lot of those references also, and removed the last fee increase date from the published document. We're keeping that in our records. We still refer to it. It's not going anywhere. We're just not putting it out in the published document. And we compare to other cities, and other cities also don't publish that date. We've moved a lot of things around, put them in more appropriate sections, reorganized and reworded for clarity, deleted where it was appropriate. And in that summary of changes, all of those items are identified as being either added, deleted, edited, or removed. So you can see how those are all laid out. And the fee changes are actually highlighted in that chart. And so we'll go to those. The majority of our fees are linked to an inflationary index, and that is all codified. The first being the Consumer Price Index for the West area, the CPIU. This year was 2.71% increase. So that affects our parking permits and our business licenses. And those were really the two that were directly affected. Our solid waste haulers are also affected. Their increase actually was more than the 2.71% because their aggregate profit was between 8 and 9% in 2025. And that is a piece that is written into the Tiger Municipal Code. So their rate is adjusted by 1.25% or 1.25 times the 2.71%, which gets them to 3.375%. And the Community Development Department has requested a review of the index that their planning fees use. They have historically indexed on the construction cost index, and they would like to instead switch to the CPI. There is a memo also included in the packet defending that and justifying the reason why it is consistent with what other land use departments do around the state.
Would that require a code change that we would need to have?
That is actually not one that is codified.
Okay.
It is, I believe, just at your discretion. So the next index, the construction cost index, is we take that from the Engineering News Record, which is the journal of record for most of the country, I believe. We use the index for the city of Seattle. This year it was a negative 2.93%. Excuse me. So we bottomed that out at a 0% change for a floor. That affects our fire service connection fee and our sewer charge, and also the street maintenance fee. But it is also in our code that does have a 2% floor, so that adjusted at 2% this year. And also our system development charges are all have a piece dictated by that construction cost index. So our park, transportation, and water SDCs will not see an increase this year. Our Tigard right-of-way fees are increasing by 3%. That is based on historical consultant recommendation. Utility fees are a 2% increase. That is based on system plan, a recommendation that has been standard over the years. Parks and Recreation fee has the standard 4.26% increase. And the other jurisdictions that we collect fees for, Clean Water Services, is increasing their SDCs that we charge for, which is the sanitary sewer connection and storm and surface water fees by 2.7%. The sanitary sewer service and storm and surface water service charge are increasing by 4%. That is the fee that Tigard residents will see on their utility bill. And a regional stormwater management charge, which is a new development stormwater charge that is, I believe, just charged in the Triangle area. And that is a 6% increase this year. And then Washington County, we collect their transportation development tax, which is essentially another SDC. Theirs is increasing by just over 8% this year. So some other items that we wanted to highlight are there is a convenience fee, excuse me, that the city charges for customers using a debit or credit card to pay fees. And that is in every department in the city except for utility billing. It is $1.95 minimum fee, or 3% of the charge, 3% of the fee, excuse me, whichever is greater. And there is also a $1.95 flat fee for an e-check. And Eric can speak more to that later. All of the licenses that the city issues, business licenses, liquor licenses, secondhand dealers licenses, social gaming licenses, right-of-way, utility, franchise licenses, we have a lot, are issued by all different departments, and they were all in different places in the old fee schedule. We put them all in one place, so you can just look for licenses now. Added a section on the utility billing page that is just a quick glance. What if I live in Tigard, what would a utility bill cost me? Instead of trying to a la carte different fees through a couple of different pages to try and figure out what it would be, it's similar to a calculator that we have on the website and gives that quick glance for users. There is a new fee that the Parks Department is proposing that is for food carts. That would be required for rentals associated with shelter reservations or events in the parks. And that fee would help them recover for increased cleaning requirements and oversight to ensure that carts are set up in the correct locations. So it's increased staff time to make sure that they're in the right place.
So that's if someone brings a food cart into the park. Like,
Right. So if you rented a shelter and you decided to bring in a taco truck to feed the party.
I didn't know that was a possibility. Good to know.
We're asked about that every so often, and I think we've kind of held it off as long as we can, but there's more and more requests, and there's a lot of food carts out there. So I think Rick was the one that came up with this idea of just being able to manage it.
And then the last significant change to highlight is for the system development charges. We have historically just published our base rates. And so this year we moved to publishing the entire rate table, which is something that Washington County does for their transportation development tax. It's something that most other cities do. And it gives our customers the ability to better estimate what their fees might be when they're looking at a new development. So in previous fee schedules, they've just been instructed to call the city, call for assistance, and somebody will tell them. So it's not perfect. They are not going to get the exact number because there's a lot of different variables that go into calculating non-residential system development charges, but it at least gives them a better idea than no idea. And we also added a page with some commonly requested SDC estimates. So sort of like with the utility bill, I added food carts. You know, how much are the SDCs for a food cart? How much are the SDCs for a single family detached dwelling? And also for ADUs. So those were the big changes. Those are what I thought were the big changes. And Eric, did you want to speak some more about the convenience fees?
Sure. Yeah. So on the convenience fees specifically, and for the record, Eric King, Finance Director. Pleasure to be here tonight. So the convenience fee reflect what is actually taking place, and historically, we for a number of years now have been passing on fees for all of our permits, and so that is not a change from a practice, but we're not explicitly calling out the fees and charges schedule so that it's very clear to the customers. That being said, one of the topics that I'll be introducing to council at a future time will be potentially changing the convenience fee structure for utility billing as a potential cost saving measure, while still offering a free method for customers to pay their bill. Because currently, the city absorbs all fees for e-checks and credit cards, but then certain payment methods don't cost anything to the city. And so if there's a way to encourage customers to go to a free method of payment, that would be a net savings to the city. So that is a topic for future consideration for council to consider.
Eric, is there a substantial number that uses e-checks or credit cards to make it one?
There is a substantial number. I can't tell. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but currently we spend about $600,000 in just credit card fees.
For utilities?
Yes. Just related to utilities.
Robbins.
Councilor Robbins?
Thank you. I did have a question about that. I understand the 3% fee for the credit cards. That's to cover the credit card fee that we pay, correct? And then does the city actually pay $2 per e-check?
Yes. These are fees that are being passed on to the consumer. There's no there's not an upcharge from the city side. If that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
I'm just wondering, you don't have to answer that now. But it also costs city staff time, which is money, to process check and cash. So if we're going to discuss that in the future, I would like to see how much does it cost staff time to process non-credit cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's just a request. Thank you.
Yeah, the free method that we would encourage customers to use is either bill pay or ACH automatic payment.
Oh,
those are all free methods and electronic.
Oh.
Then lastly, one thing I do want to clarify on the water rate increase, they recommended the 2%. That is, just for clarification, was the recommendation from the 2021 rate study that council did adopt. Because that did look at a 10-year future, but we are still in the middle of doing another rate study. So at this point, for council, we are bringing this topic back next week for a public hearing. And so if there is any questions that council has for staff today, or if we can't answer them today, we can bring back and prepare them ahead of time for fall.
Question with regard to street maintenance fee and business license fee, have you heard from any external or contact any potential external customers that would be greatly impacted, or will this be a surprise?
Let's see, there was one business forum at the chamber, and I think there were a few businesses there. Now, at that time, we didn't have actual numbers to share with them.
Yeah.
This is more here, this is the process we're going through. I'd have to get back to you as to whether the team has done further outreach. I think they have, but I'm not sure.
I know there's some concern about how that's going to be applied.
Yep.
For clarification, the methodology on here does not reflect the new methodology quite yet.
Okay.
So that has not been.
Oh, it has, okay.
So this is still.
Still the old. The old
Yeah.
news.
Yes.
New. Got it. Okay.
Council has adopted.
Got it. Okay.
So the fee schedule does not assume adoption of any other new technology.
Okay. Thank you.
So the increase to the street maintenance fee, I believe, is a floor of 2%. Is that right? And that is that's codified.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the only change.
So I've been paying the same alarm permit fee for 20 years. So is there a reason why it hasn't been increased for 20 years?
That's an excellent question. I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but I'm happy to discuss with our. It's like
$25.
$25.
I'm paying for
20 or 25.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and I mean, I can say, I know that, the police department did closely review their fees and specifically the alarm permit fees. I know that they came and just had a new ordinance passed in April. And so they were certainly reviewed, but that, I guess, just didn't make the list. I'm not sure.
Not that I want to pay more, but I'm just curious.
No, it's a good question. I can check with Katie.
Because personal alarm service fees are certainly going up.
Yeah.
How cumbersome would it be to get the amount of revenue for each of the fees in this schedule? The reason I ask is it's 39 pages, and I would love to review the biggest fees and charges first that actually impact our budget bottom line. I figure photocopies is not the main one. So it'd just be, I don't know how, like, if it's really difficult to do or would be really time consuming, we don't have to, but I'm just curious.
That's actually not terribly difficult.
Yeah, I'd love to see dollar amount, and then because there's a wide range of how people are paying their water bill every month, right? Compared to photocopies, I don't know how often. So it'd be interesting too to see number of transactions, just like year to date this fiscal year or like last fiscal year, so you have a complete time period.
Sure.
That'd be a fun Excel file to get. Thank you.
I did really appreciate this as a bridge document to try to track across. So thank you. It was very helpful. And so my only other question, and just trying to understand and prepare for what the financing around River Terrace 2, the impact there, because we're approving SDCs here. Are they set? Because it seems like that will be a conversation in the coming year. Are they connected? This creates a change that's going to be heading our way.
I can take a stab at that, and I'll invite Community Development Director Sandra to also weigh in if she'd like. So this fee schedule for SDCs still retains the status quo. River Terrace 2.0, as we've had several council meetings on the tiering of SDCs as a potential option. That will require undergoing a study, and would have to have an adoption for the methodology change before that gets incorporated into the contract.
So we move forward here, knowing that's coming
Yes.
along the way.
It'll be a
Excellent.
separate, it will be a separate resolution ordinance that we'll follow up with based on whatever the, like, we indicated with the actual analysis.
And then there would be separate ones for like streets and parks, because I remember from the last update, we're looking at a citywide
Yes.
change that's similar.
Yeah, and just for clarification, this schedule, so we are required to update the schedule at least once a year. But it can be amended throughout the year as well. So as there are methodology changes or recommendations to revisit fees, it can be amended.
Documents much easier to read. I have no concerns about the increases, and I support the methodology change for community development. That makes sense.
All right, no concerns. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
So our final item for study session is council liaison reports. Who would like to start?
I'd like to start.
Okay, Councilor Clark.
Thank you. I've only had one meeting since our last update, which was a meeting chart on May 20th. We discussed a variety of things, including updates related to council changes to the time, place, and manner ordinance, which went into effect for that chart meeting. We also talked about the next steps in setting up the council assist advisory board, which the council approved at the previous meeting, and then also discussed the fiscal year 2027 budget, in particular the social services coordinator position, because that is someone who sits on chart. So those were the three main items that were discussed. And then I believe, I forget the date offhand, I think I have a planning commission meeting in the coming month, as well as one of our very rare meetings of the Willamette River Water Coalition, which will be next week. And we're going to keep it under 30 minutes so I can attend executive session. So those are my updates.
I go next. TCAC had a meeting on May 13th. There was a briefing on the transient lodging tax as well as the economic development strategic plan. Concerns there how their plan will integrate with the economic development strategic plan. So we'll need to chat about that at some point. June 10th, we're revisiting Family Promise. August 5th is a joint tour with the Transportation Committee. And September 22nd is a tentative TCAC, TCDA meeting, tentative. Washington County Development Block Grant, which Nicole had mentioned, both Maureen and Tom know that they're going to be having a project reopening, an update for Juanita Pole in Tualatin, which is their senior center. And that's going to be, I believe, the 12th, which is Friday the 12th. So I think I sent it out to everybody. I know it's the mayor, so folks would like to attend. And then the last is the urban renewal funding session. Our May meeting was canceled. And the next meeting is going to be Monday, June 8th.
Thank you, Councilor Shaw. Councilor.
I had a CCE meeting. They wanted to talk about the bond measure. That was top of the mind, and that took quite a bit of time. But they were upset. Everybody's disappointed. We had a presentation on the Taggart Home Project by Amber Gomez, and a presentation from Alex Richardson about the changes on the city's report card and how that's changed to an annual report card and what that will. That was it.
Thank you. Councilperson Wolf.
Yeah, just Tiger Chamber Governmental Affairs and Public Policy Committee meeting. This was May 21st, so we spent a chunk of time reflecting on the election from the 20th, and then also moving forward legislative update, what the GAP committee wants to kind of ideas of what they would endorse or take a stand on. Anyway, so that was it. A lot of time spent reflecting on it.
Okay. Councilor Robbins.
I am liaison to the library board. I think we all know what's going on there. We haven't had a meeting since the last presentation to council because of scheduling issues. We do have a meeting next Wednesday, which I will not be able to attend because it conflicts with the 8th grade promotion ceremony for Fowler Middle School. So I'm not sure who is my alternate, but if someone could reach out to me after this, if we could arrange for that. And the board members do know I won't be there. And then I've been working with Alex on scheduling time to start attending the TIAC meetings. I'm probably I think at first I'll start going every other meeting at the most. I don't want to go every meeting. And so that'll start later on this month.
Thank you.
Heather, could you repeat the time of the library board meeting, the date?
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday the 12th? Or Wednesday?
Next Wednesday. It would have been the 10th.
Yeah.
The 10th. Jeanette, are you the alternate?
No, we were just saying Tom Anderson is the alternate, but he's out of town.
Anybody?
You said you have
I think
White
I've got a
House,
meeting.
Water Advisory Board.
That's my standing ESD board.
I can take it.
All right. Councilor Schlag will go.
Yeah. I got
Councilor
some advisory.
Robin. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilor Caduce.
Nothing since last.
Okay. For me, quick update, Metropolitan Mayors. We started gearing up for the 2027 season, and we have divided into subgroups about focus on different topics. So I don't know what I've been assigned to, so we'll see. And we talk about the SHS funding renewal that's coming up soon, and that will be a discussion among the mayors. And I think right now, Portland Mayor is really advocating hard for direct funding to cities. So, so we'll see how that goes. And yesterday I went to the R1 Act Regional 1 Area Committee on Transportation, and we received tons of update from ODOT. And one thing of note is, I-5 southbound from Rose Quarter, starting September 11th, is going to be completely closed for up to 5 weeks.
Wow.
So it's going to be a major issue, because this entire southbound will be closed for 5 weeks.
In the summer.
In the September 11th, starting September 11th. Yeah, 5 weeks. So, so there will be. So keep tuning to the ODOT website to see what kind of measure there are. I think it's going to be a mess, personally. So, I mean, it's unavoidable. And then, so that's all I have. So, any questions? Go ahead.
Regarding SHS, the last time they were looking at going forward to, some sort of referral, and some Metro counselors come by to talk about it. Would that be something we should expect as a future agenda item? I don't know what the timeline would be for SHS.
Yeah, we have a new Metro Council president, so I can ask them to present.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of questions.
Folks. Yeah, it's going to expire in 2030, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they need to act soon and getting support from cities and communities. Yeah. All right, so I will ask you.
And then just the FYI, Chris Warner was appointed today as interim director of the Oregon Department of Transportation. He came from Portland.
Okay.
Had a stint there, running their transportation, PBOT, and a few others. But he's also been with Governor Kotek's office since the beginning of her tenure.
So
I can pass that on if anyone's interested.
Okay, if there are no questions or comments, we'll be in recess until 6:30 council meeting. Thank you, everyone.
All right, good evening, everyone. I will call this Tiger City Council and Local Contract Review Board meeting to order. City Recorder Krager, would you please conduct a roll call?
Councillor Gadusi,
Present.
Youth Councillor Hellick, Mayor Hu,
Here.
Councillor Robbins,
Here.
Councillor Slack,
Here.
Councillor Shaw,
Here.
Council President Wolf,
Here.
Councillor Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. Will everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, council and staff, do you have any non-agenda items?
No.
All right, seeing none, let's move on to the next section, which is public comments. Public comment period provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the city council. While it is not a dialogue, either I or staff will follow up to address the issues brought forward in these comments. If you want to provide testimony for item number 9, which is River Terrace 2.0 annexation, you can wait. Please wait until then to provide public testimony. The calling number is 503-966-4101, and those wishing to comment should call now to get into the queue. Anyone present wanting to comment should sign up on the public comment form at the front of the room. For written comments, we received 19 written public comments by Monday noon deadline. The library budget was the most frequent topic, and there were a few related to River Terrace 2.0. For public comments, when I call your name, please come forward to the microphone, and please make sure to turn on the mic. I think how many do we?
You have some comments there already.
Okay, I have 4 here. Do we have any more? Okay. So we have 10 minutes for public comments. So if there are more than 5, each one of you will have 1 minute. But if not, you have 2 minutes. So let's see how many people sign up. So we have 7 people signing up, so each one of you will have 1 minute when I call your name. First person I want to come, please come forward is Jenny Stoffel. Jenny, good evening. Please turn on your mic. Thank you.
There, it's not okay. Good evening, City Council members. I wanted to briefly share some information about library social services and related programs from around North America. According to the Public Library Association's 2024 National Staffing Survey, social work was among the most requested new positions libraries would create if funding were available, cited by 13.1% of respondents nationally, and 17.6% of city libraries already employ dedicated social work staff. The Edmonton Public Library's community-led and Safe Communities initiative is one example of why. Outreach workers engaged over 12,000 individuals and made more than 37,000 referrals to housing, healthcare, mental health, addiction treatment, income support, identification services, and other resources. An independent evaluation found that the program generated $5.73 in social value for every dollar invested, with benefits extending not only to library patrons and staff, but also to police services, health services, the justice system, and the broader public.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next person I would like to invite up is Gabriel Cruz. Hi, Gabriel.
Gotta be quick. Is my mic on?
Yes, it's on now, so please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Gabe Cruz. I'm a Tigard resident, a Tualatin Valley DSA member. I'm a stay-at-home dad who also works part-time at the night. And the library is the place where my daughter and I spend the majority of our time when we're not at home. I appreciate and would like to thank those council members who have advocated on this matter. I'd also like to thank council for putting forward an amendment to partially restore library funding, but I would also urge you all to go forward and further to fully restore library funding, as well as looking at maintaining social services throughout the city. I had a lot I wanted to say, but as seems appropriate for the way that this is being handled, my time is short, and like the voters of Tigard, my voice is being silenced and shut off very shortly. There are competing visions for how society deals with those who fall on hard times. Some, like those behind me, take the point of view that we should offer a helping hand and wait for those who are most vulnerable to not fall into crisis. Others feel like we should wait for them to fall into crisis and then use the police to be able to mitigate the harms that come from that. The people of Tigard chose what they thought was important, and you all are undemocratically going against that vision.
Your time's up.
Thank you very much.
All right, next person I would like to invite up is Larry Jacobs. Good evening, Larry.
Mayor Hugh, council members, my name is Larry Jacobs. I live at 14011 Southwest Roy Rogers Road. In 2022, I was approached by Riverside Homes saying they were interested in my property, which has joined their subdivision in River Terrace 1.0. In May of 2023, I went under contract with them for the sale of my property. And before I went under contract with them, I checked with city staff to see when the annexation process was going to be completed and when the community plan was going to be completed. And at that time, I was told that they expected the annexation to happen at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. My contract payment schedule is based on the annexation being completed and the community plan being completed. So I was, certainly waiting for this to happen. Nothing happened in 2024 and 2025 until fall of 2025. I was told that
I'm sorry, your time's up. Your time's up. So
Pardon?
Your time's up. Your 1 minute's up. So thank you.
We did receive the comment.
Yeah, and we did receive your written comment as well.
So can I finish or not?
No, your 1 minute's up. Thank you. All right, so next person is Piper Rooker. Hello, Piper.
Hello there. My name is Piper Rucker, and I live in Central Tigard. I am transgender, and my pronouns are they, them. I ask that the council amend the proposed budget to restore the library's social services coordinator. I know the council has heard that a few people are uncomfortable visiting the library because some of our homeless neighbors are present. Even if eliminating the position would remove homeless people, I ask, who is next? I know firsthand that some people are unhappy that queer people like me are allowed in the library. I am not homeless, but there is no line between me and someone who is. There is only a line between us and the people who don't want us here. I am here to hold that line in solidarity. When my neighbors can't access social services, some of them die. If their deaths are accepted because some people are uncomfortable having them present, then this is not a community I feel safe in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Piper. Next person I would like to invite up is Katie Sobolak. Thank you for the pronunciation guide. Yeah, welcome, Katie.
Hello, my name is Katie Sabolik, and 5 years ago I was able to accomplish a lifelong dream and buy a home in Tigard. I work here, I play here, and I vote here. In fact, I voted for quite a few of you that are up here today. Recently, I've been standing outside the library with a petition asking for people to keep the Tigard Library at its current funding. Over and over again, I've gotten the same response from people, which is, I already voted yes on this. The people of Tigard voted yes to 34.5 to maintain library services as they are. Your community does not know what is happening, and frankly, when I bring it up, people are angry and confused as to why we are going against their wishes, as am I. I implore you to listen to your constituents and what they have asked for. As of this afternoon, 1,072 people have signed a petition to not cut funding to Tigard Library, and most importantly, not to cut the social service coordinator, which is an essential role for our community and needed now more than ever. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Katie. Next person is Becca Reyes Geislinger. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Becca Reyes Geislinger, and I'm the volunteer coordinator at Tigard Public Library. I'm here to speak for myself, not the library. I'd like to share a little bit about some of the people I've referred to the social services coordinator. We have a 76-year-old volunteer whose husband was recently diagnosed with terminal cancer. When she told me how overwhelmed she felt, I recommended the social services coordinator. She was so grateful to have somebody who could help her research and navigate the services that she and her husband may now be eligible for. We had a 21-year-old attend volunteer orientation. He told the group he'd like to volunteer, quote, to be less lonely. Afterwards, I reached out to the social services coordinator, who agreed to help this young person research options to get more connected to community in Tigard. A community member recently reached out to both Parks and the library about earning court-mandated community service hours. He was kind and diligent, but we don't have capacity, so I referred him to the social services coordinator, who was willing to meet with him and help him research other options. The social services coordinator's role is more nuanced and more helpful to a wider array of community members than I think the council understands. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next person is Micah Newsom. Good evening.
Good evening, council members. Over the last month, we've heard a great deal from the city about fiscal responsibility. They insist this is why we must cut the social services coordinator position from the library budget. But as many public comments have pointed out, this type of position actually saves public dollars in the long run. $600,000 was slated to be spent on the new PWPD facility that was voted down, and those funds can now be redistributed to fund this position while maintaining a surplus. The city has repeatedly invoked the need to make hard choices, but this one shouldn't be hard. The voters have made it clear that supporting the library is their priority. And if the city isn't pursuing the voters' priorities, then whose priorities are they pursuing? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Van, are there any callers in the queue for phone or video testimony?
We have one person signed up for a video testimony. His name is Jeff Weiss.
All right, so please patch Jeff through. And
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Jeff Weiss, the owner of the property at 16245 Southwest Beef Bend Road. Please let the record show that my testimony tonight is offered strictly without prejudice, fully preserving all legal rights and remedies. I ask that you direct staff to anchor the center line of the proposed Southwest River Terrace Boulevard exactly to the eastern property line. Shifting the road causes many reasons to cause my property harm. The main one being that it imposes an unfair burden. Under Tigard Development Section Code 1891.050, exactions must follow a standard half-width dedication rule. A boundary road ensures a lawful 50-50 split. Shifting it west forces the entire corridor onto my property alone, violating this code. While I am open to alternatives like a joint county-city variance, any discussions depend entirely on developer-level valuation and full compensation for taken land or severance damages. Please direct your staff to lock the center line.
Jeff, your time is up. We also received written comment from you, so thank you for phoning in. All right. So
yes, Mayor, I'd just like to emphasize that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is City Manager Report. Acting City Manager Rager will provide a brief report. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This morning, our community came together for the annual raising at City Hall. signaling our continued commitment to a diverse, equitable, and welcoming city for everyone. My thanks to you, Mayor, and members of the council and staff and community members that were able to be there to show their support this morning. This annual tradition highlights our shared values of inclusivity and ensures that every individual feels seen, valued, and safe in our city. On the slide, you'll also see that coming up this weekend is the annual the Health and Fitness Fair. It's on Saturday, June 6th, and it'll be held at Universal Plaza. It'll run from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is a family-friendly event and features free health screenings, fitness demonstrations, and participants can connect with many local service providers. I encourage the council and residents alike to attend and take advantage of these vital community services. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, let's move on. Next, we have Tiger High School envoy report, and I will invite our Tiger High School envoy to the City Council, Becca Khosravani, to give the report. Good evening, Becca. There we go.
Perfect. Is it on?
Yeah.
Hello, Council. Thank you so much for having me. My report this evening is going to be a little bit shorter than usual, as my last report was not very long ago. I have our incoming ASB president and vice president here tonight to introduce themselves as we gear up for graduation, which will take place this Friday, the 7th at 7 p.m. on the football field. In other terms, our senior class celebrated our last event for the year yesterday. We had a senior field day, and we were able to garner a lot of engagement from all the seniors in the school, and it was a really nice way to be able to wrap up the end of the year. In other words, our class has been filling out binders to prepare for next year's committee chairs and class presidents, and so all of this year's leaders have been filling out those binders really diligently, full of lots of feedback and advice for next year's class to be able to take note from. And I believe that sums it up for the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a privilege to be able to report for you this year, and I'm very grateful to be able to pass on this role to our incoming president and vice president, who will introduce themselves shortly.
Yeah, please come forward. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, council members. I'm Sydney Joel, and I will be serving as Tiger High School's ASD president for the 2026 and 2027 school year. I'm looking forward to representing the voices of Tiger High students, and yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for introducing yourself. Welcome. We look forward to it. Hello.
Good evening, council members. My name is Gabriel Musangu, and I'll be acting as ASB Vice President for Tiger High School for the 2026 to 2027 school year. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to bring these reports and act as a support to Cindy Jewell and a co-president in bettering Tiger High School.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, so our next item, we have a resolution of appreciation for Becca for her 1 year of excellent service. So Becca, would you please come forward? All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Mayor, I would move to approve resolution number 2618, a resolution acknowledging Rebecca Khosravani for her service as Tigard High School student envoy to the Tigard City Council. You've done an exceptional job.
I second.
All right, so the motion's been moved and second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I will start with the youth counselor for advisory vote.
Thank you. Yes.
Stay. You're not done yet. We're not done yet. Although, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Well, the resolution is adopted by a unanimous vote of the council. So would you like to take some pictures with us?
I would love to.
All right. All right.
Congratulations.
All right, congratulations. thank you again, Becca. We wish you the best. I'm sure you'll do great things. But yeah,
Keep in touch.
yeah, keep in touch. All right, let's move on to next item, which is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is used for routine items, including meeting minutes, contracts, or intergovernmental agreements. Tonight, we have one item on the consent agenda, a contract for the Cooper Creek Outfall Stabilization Project. I will entertain a motion or a question.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. The motion has been moved and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The consent agenda is adopted by a unanimous vote of the council. All right, so next item on our agenda is Clean Water Services, CWS, Cost of Service Study and Rates Presentation. And we would like to invite CWS Chief Financial Officer Kathy Leader and Chief Utility Relation Officer Joe Gale to give the presentation. Good evening. No, it's not now.
It is on now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Joe Gall. I'm the Chief Utility Relations Officer. You're not going to hear much from me tonight, except maybe answering some questions. Kathy's going to primarily go over our cost of services study and our rates forecasting, and hopefully we'll have a good discussion. I have two guests in the audience that I want to make sure the council's aware of. First, Sammy Magana is part of my community engagement team, does a lot of work here in Tigard with Tigard staff and other organizations, and wanted to make sure she was acknowledged. Also, our new general manager, Raheem Harji,
Oh, welcome.
is on day 4.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow,
I
welcome.
invited him to come to Tigard tonight,
Yeah.
and he's here if you have any questions for him as he starts his new chapter and
Yeah.
leadership for our organization. We're very excited. He keeps coming back, so that's good. So he comes from the city of Hillsborough as
okay.
their deputy city manager most recently. So
Okay.
we're very excited. So as I told you a few months ago, we were going to come back and talk about rates. We're going through our budget process just like you are, and this is an important piece to that puzzle. So
Okay.
with that, I'm going to have Kathy start the presentation.
Thank you, Joe. So good evening, Mayor and members of council. Today I'm going to talk about and give an update on Clean Water Services Cost of Service Study and our rate projections. Just for a point of reference, so Clean Water Services provides regional sanitary sewer and surface water management services for the customers in the city of Tigard. We have regional rates we set. Tigard bills those rates as part of their billing and remits monthly to the district. Tigard has their own local program for sanitary sewer and stormwater, have their own rate set and bill for the local program. Next slide. So first, I'm going to give the historical rate increases that the district has put in place. I'm going to give an update on our cost of service study and our allocation process. I'm going to define those regional and local services because those are key to the programs and the rates that we're developing, and also then look at the 10-year rate forecast. Next slide. So Clean Water Services has a history of modest and predictable rate increases. Over the last 10 years, we've had an annual average increase of about 3.38% over that period. What you see over to the right is a graph of our rate increases between 2017 and 2026. And in 2026, it's showing you the rate that is our rate Clean Water Services bills to our customers directly. So it's our regional local rate we bill. In 2026, that was set at $66.95 for the average residential customer for sanitary sewer and stormwater management. Those rates were developed based on a study that was done back in 2008. At that time, there were separate rates set for the different utilities, the sanitary sewer and stormwater, and also separate rates for regional and local. And over time, the rate increases, we applied the same percentage rate increase equally across the programs. going forward. Recently, the board adopted a new rate methodology that we put in place, and that methodology once again evaluated our cost of service in the different service areas, the different utilities and regional and local, and we established once again different rates related to those services. But going forward under this new methodology the board adopted, we look individually at those rates and would increase them based on the needs of each of the components, so that won't be the same percentage across all rates. At the same time that they adopted the cost of service methodology, we also updated our reserve policy. Next slide. So the cost of service study, as I mentioned, the last time we had done a study, it was back in 2008, and it was the ask of our board and also the member cities that we once again evaluate and perform another cost of service study, because there was a feeling that there was a change in level of service, not only between the utilities, but also the regional and local programs. So we initiated that study in 2021, and then in working with Bartell Wells and Associates, we completed an update to that study in February of 2026 with our current programs and capital plan. The study did reveal that the local rates charged did not fully cover the local program for both the sanitary sewer and the surface water management program. And this study itself is going to then provide the basis for forecasting a rate development going forward. Next study. Next slide. So there are three main objectives of the study. The first was to review and update costs, how costs are allocated between the sewer and stormwater programs, and then also through regional and local services. Next, we were going to prepare a 10-year financial plan that would fund operating and maintenance, debt service, and capital needs for the district. It would correct that local service area funding deficit and then ensure that CWS maintains sufficient reserves to fund future projects. And finally, it was to calculate rates and evaluate impacts on customer bills. Next slide. So this graph here is showing you that, so the rates vary across the service area. So the map you're looking at here, the black outlined and green area, that's all of Washington County. And inside of there, we provide services at different levels for, in the blue areas there, those are the cities where we provide regional services only. So Forest Grove, Cornelius, Hillsborough, Beaverton, Tigard, Tualatin, and Sherwood. We provide the regional service, and they provide their own local program. For the areas on the map where it's a brown color, that's the urban unincorporated areas of Washington County and the cities of Gaston, Banks, North Plains, King City, and Durham. And those cities, we provide the regional and the local services for them. Next slide. So defining those regional services for both the sanitary sewer and stormwater, regional services include the construction, operating, maintenance, and treatment for the treatment plants, the sewage pump stations, the pressure lines, and conveyance lines over 24 inches in diameter. It also includes the compliance reporting for the district and the oversight for National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPEDS permit, including the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, MS4. It includes maintaining minimum stream flows and the service area restoration, enhancing stream corridors. Next slide. For local services on the sewer and stormwater program is the design, build, and maintenance of sewer lines, conveyance lines over 21 inches and smaller. It includes the design, building, maintaining, repairing local stormwater facilities. It includes our street sweeping program, maintaining water quality facilities, and cleaning catch basins and water quality manholes. Next slide. So this slide is showing the projected CWS regional rate for sanitary and stormwater. And when you're looking at the bar graph, so 26 is the current rate that we're charging for regional services to the customers in Tigard, and that's set at, you see right above $49.39 per month for the average residential customer. For fiscal 27, the rate we show there at $51.36, That's $1.97 more per month for a customer on the regional rate. And that is the rate we built our proposed budget on, and also have then put into our rates and charges that we're going to go to a public hearing June 9th with our board. The rates for 28 on in this slide, these are projected rates. Each year we'll go in and we'll update our actuals and then project out operating and capital program based on what we're seeing going on and adjust our rates accordingly. So this is projected at this point, and we are currently doing annual rate increases.
And those are 4%, correct?
Yes,
Projected
and
as of now.
4%, yes. Next slide. So this is showing you that this is sewer only regional, and so the bar graphs, that's our annual costs, so operating, maintenance, debt service, and capital. And the dotted line there, that's our the revenue with the rate increases across those years. So currently, in our forecast, we're looking at a 4% rate increase annually. That's $1.86 on the sewer side for a month for an average customer. And so when you look at the expenditure versus revenue, we are projecting to run a slight deficit through fiscal year 30 in operations because the revenue is below expenditure, and begin to cover those costs in years beginning in fiscal year 31 in the current projections. Next slide. So similarly, this is the surface water management side. So once again, the bar graphs are expenditures by annually, O&M, debt service, and capital over that time period. The dotted line is the revenue with rate increases. Once again, we are projecting out at 4% a year through those years, and it's 11 cents per month for the average residential customer in 27 on those proposed rates. And so with that increase over the next 10 years at 4%, I believe we can cover costs in all years in that program. Next slide. So one of the key drivers in our forecast and rate development is our capital program. So what we're showing you here is for 26, the current year we're in right now, through 27 through 31, our CIP, our capital improvement plan, our planned capital expenditures over the current year and next 5 years. So the current year plus the next 5 years, we anticipate spending over $754 million in capital projects. 90%, so majority of those are in the regional area and 10% local. Next slide. So this is similarly for the surface water management capital program. So at current year, at $1 million, and the other years out, 2027 through 2031, are in our CIP for the 5-year. We anticipate spending with the current and 5 years over $11.7 million in capital spend. 76% of that is regional, and 24% is local. Okay, next slide. So this is showing you from our 10-year financial forecast, this is all of the sanitary sewer and stormwater expenditures for both regional and local. So it's total costs for the district on the bar graphs. The dotted line is the rate revenue with projected rate increases. We start out by showing you in 2026, you see there that expenditures are slightly higher than what we anticipate in revenues. We actually project expenses to total over $273 million. And revenues at approximately $246 million this year. So we're actually planning to spend about $30 million in reserves in 2026, and that's really related to some large construction projects that are currently in the pike for the district. And so as you're looking across the years, we anticipate we'll run a small deficit overall through fiscal year 31, mainly due to that local program, because we'll be utilizing some reserves as we true up their local rate to cover their cost of service. And with this existing forecast and rate increases, we would exceed projected expenses, and reserve funds will be replenished beginning in fiscal year 32. You see there from the graph. Next slide. So this is showing you our reserve fund trends. So the blue bar line, that's our ending fund reserves by year, so starting in 2026. And the dotted line, that's our minimum target reserves based on our updated reserve policy. So when you see there in 2026, we anticipate that we're currently above reserves, but over the next 5 years or so through 2031, we're going to be using some of those reserves to cover that deficit and then start replenishing in 2030, beginning in 2032. You do see that target reserve line grow over time, and that's really in relation to inflation and costs that increase that reserve requirement. Next slide. So next steps for us, June 9th, our board will have a public hearing and they'll adopt a budget, and then there's a separate rate hearing to adopt rates. Like I mentioned, these are the rates we have put in our proposed document, or actually now approved budget, and are in the rate and charges list that would go to the hearing. If they're approved by and adopted by the board, they become effective July 1st and through June 30th of 2027. And just for an awareness too, we are currently doing a utility billing feasibility study, and as part of that, we are going to be looking at abilities to provide income assistance and emergency assistance for customers, and recognizing the impacts of rate increases to the customer base. Next slide.
So before we get to questions that the council might have, we want to put a plug not only for council members, some of you have toured our facilities, but also for the public. So for Tigard residents, the Durham facility is probably the most relevant. It's right next to Tigard High School, as many of you know. That is where the wastewater from Tigard goes to be treated. These are behind-the-scenes tours of the facilities. It's actually very fascinating to learn how we treat the water in the levels that we take. And you saw some significant capital costs over the next 5 years. A lot of those investments are at our treatment facilities. So just wanted to make sure folks knew there was an opportunity to tour some of those facilities over the summer months. So with that, I think we're to the question and answer part of the presentation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor, questions? So just want to be clear, Tigard rate period will only be affected by the regional rate, not the local rate. So,
yes, that's
okay.
correct.
All right. And when you talk, and I'm happy to hear you're talking about emergency assistance or low-income assistance. So what do you expect that will impact future rate that other ratepayer pay, or is that factor into it?
Well, just to give you an idea of the timing too on that. So we're currently in the study itself, EMA. We've contracted with them to do the work with us. They're going to be on site June 6th, so next week, to start the kickoff of this. And they'll be going around and interviewing stakeholders. We've identified at the different cities and Tualatin Valley Water District that builds with us. So we're looking at working with them on what they do provide currently at those levels and how we could implement that across for the district regionally and with our own billing customers. Their plan is to have a report completed by October 31st with recommendations to the board on how we could proceed with that. So it would depend, I think, on the outcome of the rate itself. Depending on emergency assistance and income, it could be just administered probably without significant rate increases, but when you look at or adjustments to rates for different customer class.
Yeah.
But if you go to an income assistance, kind of similar to what Tualatin Valley Water District did, sometimes you do have to look at the rate structure overall to fund that program.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm very encouraged to hear that, because a lot of people are facing difficult time economically right now. So I appreciate you thinking about helping those who may not be able to pay the full rate. So thank you. Councilor Shaw.
Thank you very much. Very informative. And you had mentioned that for FY26 and FY27, it was 4%, and the goal between 28 and 31, and this may not be your words, the objective of the goal was to keep it at 4%?
So, I know, so 26 is 3%, the current year we're in is 3, yeah, and it's 4% on the going out in our current, based on our current projections, so that's based on our current operating capital program, but we will review that every year. I mean, I'd love it if we, didn't have to adjust the rates at that level. I mean, but right now, currently, based on the capital spend, that's what the rates look like.
Okay. And if there was an adjustment, we would like it to come down rather than
Yes.
go up. So.
Thank you.
Councilperson Wolf.
Actually, that's a great tag from Councillor Shaw, because looking at the chart from an expenditure perspective, it seems pretty consistent on its growth. Is there any risks or concerns of something that may shift expenses unexpectedly that would cause the revenue rates to pop?
Yeah, definitely the capital program. If we had an uptick in development and then we had to initiate some significant infrastructure at the plant or in conveyance lines early, that right now we've tried to level it out over time to kind of keep that rate consistent. But if we had something that came in earlier, it could impact the rates.
So in new developments, as added costs are, that then is distributed across all users as opposed to concentrated into the new development? Okay.
Correct.
All right, so thank you again, and I agree, people should sign up for the facility tours. It's
Yes.
fascinating. So thank you so much for coming to present. Have a good evening. Thank you. And
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. You want me
Does he
to?
want to say a few words,
Yeah.
introduce himself? Say call GM.
General Manager, excuse me, do you want to say a few words to introduce yourself? Sorry. My fellow councilors said, we should invite him to say a few words, so please turn on the mic. And
Yeah, looks like it's on.
No, it's not. There we go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Raheem Harji, the new general manager. I didn't plan on saying much. Still getting up to speed at CWS. But I've worked with your staff before, so it's just a pleasure to be back in Tigard. I come from a city background, so I'm hoping to bring some of that perspective to CWS. But the more I learn about the organization, the more equipped I am to share more info with you. So I'm sure I'll be back at a future time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Thank you for, welcome. Thank you for dropping by, and we look forward to working with you.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is legislative public hearing, River Terrace 2.0 annexation. I will open the public hearing. Annexation of the subject properties will be considered at a future date, yet to be determined. The public hearing will be noticed again to public agencies and others entitled to notice before a first public hearing at the Planning Commission. So I will close the public hearing. Any questions for staff? Nope. All right, so let's move on to next item on the agenda, which is classification and compensation study implementation guidance. And I will invite HR Director Gomez to provide the staff report. Good evening.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Laura Gomez. I'm the HR Director for the City of Tigard. Thank you for letting me be here this evening. Joining me is Milena Halverson-Mays from McGrath. Oh, I can see you. Welcome, Milena.
Hello, good evening.
We're here this evening because staff would like council's direction on providing oversight of the citywide compensation implementation process provided to the HR Director. Milena is here to also answer any outstanding questions you may have about the compensation study. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we have a study session last week about it. So, so today, Staff recommend council direct human resources to provide oversight of the citywide compensation implementation process in alignment with relevant study findings. Councilor, do you have any questions, comments, issues? Go ahead, Councilor Schlack.
Thank you, Mayor. I support directing human resources to provide oversight of the citywide compensation implementation process.
Anybody disagree or? All right. It's pretty simple, straightforward, so.
I think I'll take the direction.
Oh, okay, Councilor Robbins.
I just want to recognize that I know this is going to be a lot of work, and you have a small department, and so I really appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking on this.
Happy to do so.
All right, so human resources have
I have the
oversight,
direction.
so thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Milena.
Yeah,
It's good to
thank
see
you.
you.
You're welcome. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you all. So, all right. So we don't have non-agenda items and we have no executive session scheduled at this time. So there being no additional items, this city council meeting is adjourned. Good night, Tiger.